All right, welcome to another IEEI News Live. My name's Thomas Dimitrovich, and I'm here live. Well, this is a recorded session. I am currently in Boston, Massachusetts, at the Nfpa annual conference, and I want to talk to you about what's going on this week as we speak. I want to let you know what happened today and what's going to go on the rest of this week. When I say today, I mean today is Monday. This is when I recorded this, so we're going to talk about the final stages of NFPA 70 2023 here on IAEI News Live, and it all starts now. All right. Well, man, what can I say? What a week this has been so far, and it's for me right now. It's Monday, and I got into Boston yesterday on Sunday, and today we had a great schedule, a great program put together. Myself and David Williams from up there in Michigan. We did a presentation today on NFPA 70, the National Electrical Code 2023 code changes. We had about an hour and a half to cover some of the significant changes. We got through most of what we wanted to talk about. We didn't have any time to take questions, but we got through a lot of good material, and afterwards had a lot of great dialogue with everybody who was there. We had a really packed room, which was awesome. But you know, if you are the NFPA conference and expo is going on this week, June 6th through the 9th, and it's at the Boston Convention and Exhibition Center. There are a lot of people here, which is really great because coming off of COVID and not getting to see people, and even this 2023 code cycle was done. It was done over the web. Right, we did Teams meetings, and I don't know what Part of me really likes working remote, but there is an aspect of being able to talk over the coffee pot that is missing in that past process, and it's really great to be in person here this week now. So I'm just going to give you a little glance at what's going on. Today, starting at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'll tell you what I went to today. So this is Monday at 8 o'clock. We did 8 to 12. All right. Where's it at? So 8 to 10, 8 to 12. Here we go. Okay, Monday. So I know we did the Believe in Safety and Arc Flash Survivor's Perspective. I'll tell you what, this gentleman it was a very powerful presentation because he described, man, I can't. So most of the events that I have heard of, including some personal ones, friend, person that I knew very well, who experienced, he was electrocuted. But in most of these events, it's like either Friday and we want to go home, or it's 3 o'clock. In this case, this gentleman, he was off at 3:30. He gets the phone call at 3 o'clock. Something needed to be done at a job site, and he tells the story of how his complete disregard for safety, and more importantly, how safety was treated as he moved into the industry. And he'd been working in the industry for quite some time, but his comments were telling in that he made a statement that like they issued him a hard hat and they issued him safety boots and things like that. And other people that he worked with were like, nobody wears that. You're outside. What's could possibly hit you in the head? You're outside. There's nothing up above you. So why do you need a hard hat? And he explained all of this. I guess you would call it a culture. I would call it a culture, something that we're trying to change in our electrical industry, and I think we're doing a doggone good job of it. Um, but he explained what I hear often, and he told his story, and it was very powerful, very powerful. So that was a really good session that sticks out in my mind from today and the sessions that I was involved with. Another one was on cybersecurity, and I'm looking for the title of it. It was not a workshop. Value of codes and standards, understanding the cost and impact of fire protection. So here's some of the events. An AHJ's Guide to Energy Storage Systems. That was a good one. I wish I would love to have gone to that one, but the problem is they're overlapping, right? Educational messaging in schools, best practices from the Nfpa Educational Message Advisory Committee, fire prevention organizations in the 21st century, Ready, Steady, Extraordinary, firefighting foams, if you're in the firefighting world, inspection, testing, and maintenance, what the data tells us, understanding the cost and impact of fire protection in buildings, evaluating toxic exposures at the wildland urban interface, the value of codes and standards and the fire and life safety ecosystem, and then there's the Believe in Safety program. Cybersecurity of electrical infrastructure, that's the one that I went to. That was really very well put on. Chad Kennedy and Keith Waters put that on and talked about cybersecurity and the complexities of it, and sometimes possibly the simplicity of it. I think it was Keith Waters made the statement. He said, "Don't let it scare you." I think that's what he said. I gotta look at I'm almost positive. He said, "Don't let this scare you. It looks frightening. It looks confusing. It looks very technical, but don't let it scare you. You have to embrace it and get engaged with the challenges and establish a direction when it comes to cybersecurity. Very important piece of the puzzle and pie." All right, analysis of fire risk and informal settlements, 2022. That's ground fault, circuit interrupter, GFCI protection. 2022 Deneno Prize presentation. Ooh, that would have been a good one to go to. What else? All right, so that's today. So I was in the cybersecurity. I sat with and Believe in Safety and Arc Flash Survivor, and then that was 9:15 to 10:15, and then at 10:30, we did, myself and David Williams, the David Williams out of Michigan. We did the NEC 2023 code changes, and we used slides from the IAEI's 2023 code change program. And just to remind you and let you know, if you have not received notification, pre-orders for the 2023 code changes book are being accepted. So get out there to the IAEI's website and check that out, because you can put your order in for the 2023. There it is right here. Watch this. Watch this. Hopefully you're seeing this. This is the 2023 code changes. Look at this, pre-order, learn more. You go out to IAEI.org, and oh my gosh, your price $42 for the 2023 analysis of changes from the IAEI. Great value right there. So get your order in so that you have you get your book first. I mean, you want to get up to speed. You want to learn about these the analysis of changes. I'm sure that if you're going to the Western section or the Southern section or the Eastern section, you'll have your opportunity either to purchase this at those meetings, or quite possibly you may be provided one. You'll want to check with the section meetings, but it never hurts to have more than one. Okay, so get your order in for the IAEI analysis of changes, and I'm telling you, it's really shaping up to be a very good reference for us for the 2023 code changes. I believe you are going to thoroughly enjoy the 2023 code change analysis book from the IAEI. All right. So that was at 10:30 to 12 was our program. What else was going on that I didn't get to look at? Lithium-ion energy storage, a panel discussion of lessons learned from the Surprise, Arizona incident. That might have been a good one to participate in. These were my competitors. This was David and our competitors to getting people in our room. Fire alarm systems and analysis of addressable fire alarm notification appliances. Catching fire, exploring winning strategies for community risk reduction. The 2021 Life Safety Code, the state of the art and how we got here. Awesome. A spotlight on public education, best practices in youth fire setting, education, and intervention, creating a no-fear zone. Fire in the wildland-urban interface, identifying and mitigating the growing threat to single-family homes. I'm telling you, and we all watch it on television, right? We see those fires in California and Arizona and other places like that. It's a serious threat, and there's things that we can do to help mitigate and reduce our risks. How about combustible dust testing? A risk-based approach? That sounds like a good one. This was 8 to 9 still. Electrical circuit data collection. I was torn between going to cybersecurity and the electrical circuit data collection. What this is regarding, I believe, is some of the changes that we're experiencing right now in the 2023 code cycle. There is a section in Article 210, actually an entire new part in Article 210. It is not 210, 220. Why did you say 210? I don't know what you're talking about. It's 220. So in Article 220, they created a new Part 6 called Healthcare Facilities. And in that Part 6, they added a new section 220.110, receptacle loads. Now, I'll tell you what was going on here. So you have a healthcare industry that says, look, NFPA 99 made some changes. I believe it was NFPA 99, made some changes and increased the number of receptacles required in all of these hospital rooms, these operating rooms, and in other areas, I'm supposing. Which, if you understand load calculations, you're looking at a VA per these receptacles, and you're counting up the receptacles because they're not like a residential home where you do, square footage and you cover lighting and receptacles. So the increased number of receptacles in these areas is driving a load calculation that's inflated, in their opinion. So, and this was a controversial topic, so there was some research done and gathered, and I believe that this electrical circuit data collection is probably went into that. This was today at 8 o'clock in this morning. And pulled together, they pulled together a lot of data that influenced changes in the National Electrical Code. So the correlating committee, I believe it was the correlating committee, or maybe Standards Council, I think it was correlating committee, pulled together a task group between Panel 2, who handles Article 220, and Panel 15, who handles Article 517, to look at, is there a way for us to do a demand factor on receptacle loads? Now, keep in mind, it's relatively easy from a lighting perspective or other type of applications. But receptacles, you never know what's going to be plugged in, how many of the receptacles are going to be used, and some of the questions that we had during this cycle with regard to the healthcare environments was a hospital with the receptacles. Are you going to have those emergency situations where you have gurneys or beds put in the hallways, plugging in equipment and using it in cases of emergency? So we had a lot of discussion about where in the facility and whether or not those receptacles are going to be used in heavy emergency situations, in light emergency situations. And they did this research during COVID, which I thought, in my opinion, I was thinking, boy, this is a perfect time because there will be a lot of people in hospitals. Wrong. And the reason I say that is because they were deterring people from coming to hospitals because of to have procedures performed and say voluntary procedures and whatnot. So what proved out, what they learned was there wasn't enough people really there to draw, or there I don't want to say there wasn't enough, that there was some question about the conclusions that you could draw based upon the research and data, the number of people that were involved or in the hospital at the time. So panel 2 and panel 15, they had a get together and they had multiple meetings. I would say probably both parties left the table upset and not feeling satisfied with regard to the language. And quite frankly, I think that probably means we came up with some good code. You never know. I think it's pretty doggone good. So what we ended up with in 220.110, receptacle loads, we said receptacle loads calculated in accordance with 220.14 H and I and supplied by branch circuits not exceeding 150 volts to ground shall be permitted to be subjected to the demand factors provided in the table 220.110.1 and table 220.110.2 for healthcare. Now here's what we did. In 220.110.1, we focused on demand factors for receptacles supplied by general purpose branch circuits in category 1 and category 2 patient care spaces. So we sectionalized, we focused the demand factors for those receptacles in category 1 and category 2 patient care areas, because that's where the concern was with regard to the increase in number of receptacles. And we said for 5,000 or less, it was 100% demand factor. 5,001 to 10,000, you got a 50% demand factor. Remainder over 10,000, 25% demand factor. Now, table 220.110.2, demand factors for receptacles supplied by general purpose branch circuits in category 3 and 4 patient care spaces. So you see what we did. And that's a 100% and then a 50% over 10,000. So we separated the demand factors to address just these 4 locations. The first table handles categories 1 and 2. The second table handles categories 3 and 4. Now, you're going to say, all right, Tom, wait a second. Why isn't that in Article 517? Well, the requirements were moved for load calculations into Article 220. And we also created a new Part 7 for marinas, boatyards, floating buildings, and commercial and non-commercial docking facilities. And we put that into Article 220. And now, why does Part 6 only have one section for healthcare and Part 7 have only one section for marinas? The purview, meaning who governs what that language says, is not panel 2, it's panel 15 for the case of healthcare and panel 7 in the case of marinas. So the fear of losing the control over what those demand factors were by the healthcare and by the marina individuals are put to bed because they have ownership. And from a usability perspective, load calculations are now in one location. Now we do have some cleanup, and I have a feeling that some more load calculations are going to move from the back of the book to Article 220 to keep things. I mean, when you do a load calculation, where should you go? 220, right? So, and I think that's a usability thing, in my opinion. It's all my opinion. Remember, anything on this channel is my opinion, not those of IAEI, Nfpa, Code Making Panel 2 or 10, which I am a participant on, or the NEMA, National Electrical Manufacturers Association. These are my opinions, and I could be right, I could be wrong. Question everything you hear, and even more of what you see. So, anyway, 220.110, and that is what this electrical circuit data collection is speaking to, which is kind of cool to see this process play out and hear the debates on both sides of the table. Very educational. All right, let's see what else. Protection of large open areas using beam smoke detection. All right, so there were some workshops, 8 to 10 today, power over Ethernet for installers and inspectors. So you could dig in deep in a workshop on power over Ethernet. Another workshop from 8 to 12, developing a fire protection and life safety ITM program for high-rise buildings. Woo-hoo-hoo. Another good one, as we say in West by God, Virginia. All right. So tomorrow, so that's today. And I sort of gave you an overview of what's going on today. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Tomorrow we got, let's see, 9:15. Whoa. Tuesday morning. Oh, that's the workshop, 8 a.m. All right, so that's the workshop, 8 a.m. Those are the two workshops. We've got hazard and commodity classification in sprinkler system design. We have maintaining fire alarm systems in a COVID world, incorporating virtual fitting into a wildland firefighting protective clothing design, NFPA 70E, and electrical risk assessment, the human factor. That is 9:15 to 10:15. Recognizing the communicating and value of fire protection licensor. Let me see what else. If there's anything else here on electrical. The impact of drugs on fire risk. Spotlight on public education. Here we go. Equipment grounding and bonding, and I believe that is that might be Joe Andre and Paul Dabrowski. I don't know. I have to check on that one. Equipment grounding and bonding. That should be a fun one. Oh, NFPA 915, standard on remote inspections. A proposed standard to take remote inspections to the next level. So I'll give you a little insight. One of the things as a manufacturer, I know multiple manufacturers had some challenges with regard to witness testing from nationally recognized testing laboratories who maybe didn't want to send their individuals into these facilities to review the testing of products, right? So this would be like your ULs, your ETLs of the world, your TUVs, and all this other good stuff. I don't want to get into names, but in any case, there's a handful of them out there that will do this types of evaluations for products against standards. What we learned there was, well, we can't get out there, so we leveraged technology. So this NFPA document, NFPA 915, is in my opinion, it's taken what we've learned in a COVID world and trying to get use out of this and say, there's probably some practicality in remote inspections and being able to get pictures or videos of an installation when done correctly. And this document is going to help take us there. So NFPA 915, if you're not familiar with it, you got to get out to the NFPA website, check it out. You can purchase it. You can probably view it for free online. I don't know. Let's take a look. Let us take a look. We're talking NFPA 915. I'll show you how to get to that. You go to www.nfpa.org/915. Let's see what happens. All right, standard for remote inspections. Oh, it's a proposed standard. So it's not even out there yet. That's even a bigger reason to get involved here at the NFPA conference, because this document is not even, it's being proposed, and you could have been, you could be. This is Tuesday, which is today, and what time is it going on? And it doesn't conflict with this program. It's from 10:30 to 11:30. So you're watching this at 12. You probably missed it. But 915, NFPA 915 is a proposed standard to take remote inspections to the next level. And this, what's nice about being here at these meetings and being involved, if that is important to you, being involved in this topic before it becomes a standard. That's critical. And I think that says a lot about why you should be here at this conference. All right. Okay. So, lessons for the U.S. All right. So, the future of healthcare regulations. Okay. And then that's, and then there's a workshop from 10:30 to 12:30. Sorry, but you are watching this program. You're watching this program on YouTube at 12 o'clock, the premiere of this video that I recorded. So you are going to miss this one. I apologize for that. But anyway, at 10:30 to 12:30, you'll only miss the last half hour. Article 726, Class 4, Fault Managed Power Workshop. That's a new article in the NEC. So, Article 726 is a new article. 726, Class 4, Fault Power. Now, what's the challenge? What are we trying to do with these, with like, say, power over Ethernet? Always the debate is we want to put more power over smaller conductors. We want to power televisions. We want to power lighting. We want to power just about anything we can over these smaller conductors. And the hope was that, hey, this is data and communications. So, I don't have to worry about some things. Well, 726 introduced this cycle to handle this pulsed power concept and these products that are out there. There's a new outline of investigation from a standards perspective for fault managed power systems. It's UL 1400-1 outline for fault managed power systems, Class 4 powers. Part 1, general requirements for information on determining applicable requirements for the listing of Class 4 power systems. So there's a new outline of investigation, a standard that products can be listed to, and a whole set of requirements in this new Article 726. I'll read you the scope. This article covers the installation of wiring systems and equipment, including utilization equipment of Class 4 fault-managed power FMP systems. And there's a few informational notes. And there's a lot of information here about not more than 450 volts peak. Think about that. That's an AC or a DC, 450 volts DC as well. So that's a lot of voltage, and they have the new requirements in the 2023 code, and you can learn more about that through the IAEI analysis of code changes, and you can pre-order it right now after you get done watching this. Don't go anywhere. All right. So, I'm back to the programs. Back to our regularly scheduled program. All right, lessons from the U.S. The future of healthcare. We already talked about that. Equipment grounding and bonding. We talked about that. All right, so Tuesday, 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. This is in the afternoon. Are you qualified? Electrical workers, truly qualified. Balancing human health and fire safety. What else do we got? A vicarious position. The psychological impact of COVID-19 on first responders. You probably never thought about that. You have a first responder responding to an emergency. They've got to think about things like COVID-19. Got to take precautions. Electric vehicle power transfer equipment, regulations, challenges, and resources. All right, so let me tell you something. Electrification. Our world is changing. We are transitioning. And we've been transitioning, right? Alternative energy solutions, wind power, solar, photovoltaic. I don't like to use the word solar. Photovoltaic. Photovoltaics is changing our life. Electric vehicles is changing our world. And the electric vehicles, the latest news is that there is a vehicle manufacturer who is releasing a product, a vehicle, that can power loads in your home from the vehicle. Think about that. You thought about a backup generator and buying a generator? Well, just think if that vehicle that you have parked in your garage, when you need it, can power loads in your home. That's powerful. That's where the industry is going. That's what's happening in our industry now. If now we're going to charge these vehicles, and you have states like California. I believe Cal Green just recently passed a requirement that basically said, like, if you build a commercial building, a percentage of the parking spaces have to be equipped with electric vehicle chargers, and the system has to be able to handle the capacity as if every one of those chargers is charging a vehicle. Think about the size of the services for just electric vehicle chargers in that case. Probably going to be bigger than the facility itself. So it depends on how many of those parking spots, right? So we have, in the electrical industry, we've got a huge challenge on our hands. We have to start thinking about the future. We have to think about what's coming down the pike. Are we ready to plug in all of these vehicles across the United States or whatever country? How do we do demand? And how do we do load management or source management? Think about that. Source management. Where do I get my power from? Take a structure, say a dwelling unit that has photovoltaics on the roof. It has energy storage in the basement or in the garage. And then you have a hybrid plug-in vehicle or an electric vehicle that can power the home. And you have to manage where you're getting your power from and when, and what can and cannot operate in parallel with the utility. And can you even put power back onto the grid? I know we have a facility up in Pittsburgh that is not allowed to put power onto the grid. And I'll tell you what, if we start putting power onto the grid, you know who gets a phone call? The facility manager. And you know who it's from? The utility. Because they're monitoring that very closely. So there's a lot going on in electric vehicle power transfer equipment, and you got to stay up on top of it, because here's the issue. This is what we run into, and this is a real problem across the country. The NEC, we're sitting here in the annual meeting, and we're going to be arguing certified amending motions here on Thursday. And then we're going to get through this process, and then there might be appeals made to Standards Council. And then at the end of this year, we're going to usher in a new edition of the National Electrical Code. And it is not adopted immediately by every jurisdiction. Some, I know Massachusetts, early adopters, and a few others are early adopters. And they're getting ready for it. And it's coming. And the problem is, now, you'll have some states are still on the 2017 or maybe 2000 whatever National Electrical Code. It's amazing how many states are still way behind. Now, you have a new article, when we mentioned it in here, 726 for Class 4 power systems. Why? Because we're seeing Class 4 power systems. What happens if a state hasn't adopted the latest version that has the requirements for these systems? What do? What's the inspector do? What's the installer do? We have requirements that are in the 2023 code, but you can't follow those. You can't be legally bound to those if the state hasn't adopted that version of the National Electrical Code. You can use it as a guide to say, well, this is what I'm going to do, but it's a case of technology and solutions coming to the market, standards having to come up to speed, and finally, the National Electrical Code. And then we got to get it adopted. So timely adoption of the National Electrical Code is critical, especially when you have things like electric vehicles that are going to be powering homes, and you have new requirements around that. You have digital power that is that's putting 450 volts DC or peak volts across a small set of conductors. What language do we follow if my state hasn't adopted the latest version of the National Electrical Code? Can we install this equipment? Can we do it safely? That's the important part. It's all about safety, and it's about saving lives, and it's about anticipating to ensure we don't take lives. We don't have to wait for a body count to get a code requirement. when you understand the hazards involved. So it's the adoption process is an issue, in my opinion. And you probably have an opinion on that. Put it in the chat. Tell me what state are you in, and what code is being enforced in your jurisdiction. I'd love to hear that. All right. So, going to do a little something here. And filters. Give me 1 second. And we'll put this on and put this. And I'm just going to give it a bump. All right. So I think that might be a little bit better. All right. So just trying to address some volume issues. All right. So let's get back to this schedule. And you see how I'm going through this schedule, right, of technical discussions and how it relates to the National Electrical Code and what we're all here ushering in. There's a direct relationship between what we're going to be talking about at those certified amending motions out there on the floor on Thursday, what you're probably going to see in your jurisdiction from a technology perspective, and you're going to wonder what are the requirements and why didn't my state adopt the 2023 code yet? Man. Anyway, how about the future of PoE and packet energy transfer technologies? Dadgummit. I'm looking at more here. I'm looking for electrical stuff. All right. 4:30 to 5:30. There are presentations going on, but tomorrow we have the electrical section meeting. I don't know if you were familiar with the electrical section or not. The Nfpa has an electrical section. Trying to do this without wiggling my camera because I am remote today. Let's try this. Yep. All right, so this is the Nfpa electrical section. Nfpa electrical section, you can join the electrical section. There is the executive board. There's bylaws associated with it. On the executive board, we have Alamanchi as chair. First vice chair is Mark Hilbert, who's here. Just had, I guess it wasn't quite dinner, but it was like a before dinner munchie thing. Second vice chair, John Kovacek from UL. Got to talk to John as well. Third vice chair, one and only, Thomas Dimitrovich. Secretary, Keith Laughlin, which is now going to be Jody Wages. We have Ray Horner, Robert Schiffelty, David Hittinger. I saw David today. Jim Dollard, he was not here today. Roland Dyke. Larry Todd was not here today. Robert Osborne just got in not too long ago, so he is physically here, but he wasn't here for our meeting, and neither was David Kendall. So this is the electrical section. And so I'll tell you what, we talked about some of the opportunities for developing the educational sessions for next year's 2023 conference, and we're trying to come up with topics. So what I need from you, and myself and Mark Hilbert have been tasked with trying to identify the educational curriculum for next year. I would really love to hear your thoughts on what do you think are good technical programs. Topics. Give me a title. If you can send me an email with a title and maybe a couple bullet points on where your head's at, and think about the energy transfer, and think about the energy transition that we're going through. Electric vehicles, photovoltaics, batteries. What are the challenges you're seeing with technology? What do you think would be a good educational program for next year's meeting? And remember, next year we're ushering in NFPA 70E, latest edition, because the second draft meetings are going to be completed this year. And 70B for maintenance will be the first time that document is a true standard. That will be being debated and argued and brought in for release in next year's expo convention. So think about those topics, and I'm looking for ideas on what you want to see as part of a curriculum that will get you out of that chair wherever it is you're at. And we're going to be in Vegas next year, so you can come to Vegas. I believe, yeah, Mandalay Bay in Vegas, and you can meet us out there. So that is what we talked a little bit. We had an executive board meeting today, and then also at the electrical section, because this is a code cycle year, there are certified amending motions that will be voted on. And what happens in the section, there is anybody who wants to establish an electrical section position on a CAM, on a certified amending motion, can put their name in the hat, put the CAM in the hat, and I would call it the sponsor. Now, this can be a double-edged sword, because what will happen is, let's say that, for example, there's a new code requirement, and you wanted to get it through, but it didn't get through, and you have a certified amending motion, or maybe there's a requirement that's in there, and you say it needs to come out, and your position is to remove it, and that's what your certified amending motion is about. You could say, you know what, I want the electrical section's endorsement for this, and you put it in your name in the hat, and it gets pulled, and they say, all right, we've got certified amending motion 70 dot whatever on section whatever, and the motion is to reject the second draft language. That's your goal. But what might happen is during the debate, you may say, oh my gosh, I wanted support, and now the electrical section, someone is going to stand up at the microphone and say, the electrical section speaks in opposition of this certified amending motion. And you get opposite of what you wanted. So from a strategic perspective, sometimes it's not a good idea to seek endorsement because you don't know which way it's going to go unless you feel absolutely positively confident that there is no possible way anybody would disagree with you, even though an entire code panel got 2/3 to do what you didn't want them to do, right? So in any case, it's typically a very lively debate and a great discussion. And we argue it out in the electrical section, and then we vote and determine an electrical section position that is then announced from the floor at the annual meeting for review when we're reviewing the certified amending motions. So that's going on tomorrow afternoon, if I'm not mistaken, which I don't believe I am. And I think that's tomorrow, like at 4, starting at 4 o'clock or whatever. I don't know if this is in this. They have exhibitors too. Oh my goodness. You got to get down to the floor. You got to get down to the floor and talk to the exhibitors, learn about new solutions, new products, all that great jazz. I mean, this is when you network and you make friends, you establish relationships, and you leverage those moving forward to advance you in your career, which is all about saving lives. I know that's as important to you as it is to me. So when someone asks you, what do you do for a living? I don't care if you're an electrician, you're an electrical inspector, you're a design engineer, you save lives and you make lives easier. So because you want to safely use electricity. Very important. All right, so that's Wednesday. Understanding T codes. I'm not going to. And then Thursday. All right, so codes and standards for electrical installation beyond the NEC. That ought to be a good one. That ought to be a really good one. Marina safety and the 2020 NEC. There you go. And there's more clarification and more changes coming in the 2023 code cycle as well for marinas. I tell you what, if there is any one success story, that is it. I am elated. I am on cloud 9 with regard to the work that we got done in panel 7 for marinas and those applications. Moving forward And what was really cool, what's really awesome, what is really awesome about what we achieved in marinas is that the marina industry embraced these changes, understanding this is the right thing to do for safety in these applications. It is so great when we can all agree on a direction. And what you see in the changes in the marina applications, the tiered approach for ground fault protection. We have 100 milliamp protection at feeders, 30 milliamp going out to the for shore power, 4 to 6 milliamp on any of the receptacles. That layered and tiered approach was accepted by the marina industry. They're designing to it. They're meeting those requirements. They're changing their designs to make sure that the leakage currents don't exceed that 100 milliamps. They're making it work. That is where you need to be to really get something done with regard to electrical safety. So the marina applications are huge progress in marinas and marina safety, but I still wouldn't swim in a marina. Just saying. All right, so then they've got all the great stuff. So you got to check out the schedules up online and all that jazz. Now, let's talk a little bit about the certified amending motions. Certified amending motions. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, and I'm not done yet. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 50, 58 certified amending motions on the National Electrical Code. Now, I believe 2 of these have been pulled. Now, keep in mind, so that's 58. So 2 less because 2 have just been pulled, and that's up on the website. So if you go to so here are your certified amending motions. Okay, and this is the document I was just reading from. But look, it says withdrawal of CAM 70-17 and 70-116 subsequent to the position of the motions. And there was a few others that were pulled as well. So and that's a lesson for you. So here's what's going to happen. What's going to happen is they have published the agenda and the order that they're going to take these certified amending motions. In the Nfpa annual meeting, if you've never been there will be a big area where you have the voting members, and you had to be a member for at least 6 months prior to the vote. And you actually, this time they're doing an app on the phone. They will put the certified amending motion up on the screen on what the language will look like if the certified amending motion is passed. They will ask the submitter, if they're in the room, that person can speak to the certified amending motion, the change that they're seeking, whatever it would be. And then they have microphones set up for and against. And anybody can go up and speak either for or against the certified amending motion. And a few ways debate is stopped. One could be that nobody else is up at the microphone, and that's happened. But in some cases, you might get an individual who walks up to the microphone and says, I call the question. Now, you can't go up to the microphone and say, I don't agree with this. We need to call the question. No, you can't make an argument and then call the question. You just have to walk up to the microphone and say, I call the question. Then they have to follow the procedures to stop the debate. If the attendees vote to support the calling of the question, immediately they go to a vote on the certified amending motion. That's just, in some cases you get people saying the same things over and over and over because they just want to argue about it and they feel like they're losing, so they got to make some more statements. So in any case, that is the certified amending motions, and then we'll go through each of these. And last cycle, we stayed till after midnight arguing the CAMs. We're going to start in the morning on Thursday, so it's all day. Thursday is dedicated to the National Electrical Code. I don't think we'll need all day, but we will be debating the topics, and probably I'm thinking we get done by lunch, but you never know. We're going to start at, I think, 8 o'clock in the morning. So things that are being discussed, 21052C, looking at those receptacles on in kitchens. We have Article 430, some changes. 210.8 got a couple public, 210.8A and 210.8B. I thought there were others on 210. Yeah, 210.8F. Another one on 210.8F. Another one on 210.8A and 8D. So we've got quite a few on 210.8. We got a couple on 210.12. The healthcare guys want to, or somebody, I'm going to say healthcare guys, but there is an individual who wants to move the 220. Remember that energy calculation that's in 220 part 6, I think it is? They want to move that back to Article 517. So that'll be a fun discussion. There are a lot of telco sales, charge point. There's a lot of CAMs or certified amending motions around electric vehicle chargers and moving some things around there. I'm not sure exactly all the details there, but those are interesting. 210.8F, 225, 42. There's some things in here about surge. There were some expanded surge requirements. But the point of contention, apparently, is the 10K. Apparently, somebody says, no, they don't want the 10K requirement. They don't want any requirement on the capabilities of the surge product that's put in its place, that's being required to be installed. They don't want that 10K in there. So that'll be an interesting discussion to see if that stays or if it goes. What else? We've got 210.8, 422.5. There's a CAM to include GFCI protection for, I believe, hot water tanks. What else? 220.110. That's the Tracy Madison from Mazzetti wants to reject the moving of that and keep those load calculations over in 517. And then there's a companion certified amending motion to put it in 517. So you have one certified amending motion to remove it, delete it from 220.110, and there's another certified amending motion that wants to put it back into 517. So if the certified amending motion to remove it from 220.110 goes and is successful, then and we don't pass 517.22, which puts it into 517, then you get no demand factors. Risky proposition, brother. Risky proposition. Now, let's talk a little bit about what happens when a certified amending motion is accepted from the floor. There are regulations, rules and regulations for the development of the code and regs and relaxation. I'm already in the R&R perspective for my Wisconsin fellows out there. Let's take a look. NFPA 70 2023. Oh no. Yeah, no, I'm right. All right, so let's take a look at, I believe, maybe I don't have those regulations. I thought I did. Let's look at policies and procedures. That's NEMA regulations. Here we go. Found it. There's NFPA technical meeting convention rules, so there's a document for that. There is a document for regulations governing the development of NFPA standards. Now, that document, there is a table towards the end of the document that says NFPA technical meeting, amending motions and ballot table. So it talks about what are the permitted amending motions, who's authorized to make an amending motion, what is the amendment or return that results from a successful amending motion. Does the committee or committees ballot on successful amending motions? So what's going to happen? And there's a bunch of yeses. The only one time is a no. Motion to reject a second revision and any related portions of first revisions and first correlating revisions. Anybody can make that amending motion. The amendment rejects a second revision and any related portions of the first revisions and first correlating revision. It does not get reviewed by the committee, meaning, say, Code Panel 2 or Code Panel 10 or whatever, and the related text returns to the previous edition of the code. That happened, I believe, in 210.8 last time. We had expanded to all circuits, I believe it was, for GFCI, and it moved back to the previous edition in 210.8a. Now, but any of these others, like if, for example, a motion to accept a public comment, a motion to accept an identifiable part of a public comment, a motion to accept a committee comment, motion to accept an identifiable part of a committee comment, a motion to reject a second revision. These changes will have to go back to the technical committee. So here's what would happen. Let's say that you wanted all equipment to be labeled with the IAEI News Live logo. You said, any panel board, switchboard, or switchgear installed shall be marked with an IAEI News logo. You put the public input in, and it was rejected. You put a public comment in, and it was rejected. Then you put a notion of intent to make a motion, and it is certified as a certified amending motion. And we're going to argue it here from the floor. And you get up there, and you are just fantastic. You are you are just a magical person that convinces the entire room that this logo should be placed on every single switchboard, switchgear, or panel board in a power distribution system. And they support you on your certified amending motion. Do you know what happens next? It goes back to the code panel that, say, Code Panel 1. So Code Panel 1 would then review the results of the committee, and they have the ability to either pass or reject your change again. And it could be that you don't get what you want, because they might say, I don't know what was going on out there in Boston, but we're not doing that. And they can reject that certified amending motion, that language that was passed here at the annual meeting. It's a process. Like it or hate it, it's a process. So the document that's titled Regulations Governing the Development of NFPA Standards, I will put a link down below in the description for this video. That is the document that you would use to help understand the process. Now, there's another document, a NFPA Technical Meeting Convention Rules, that is a very good rule to read, document to read before you come to the meeting. And maybe you're not going to be here this week. Maybe you're planning to come to Vegas next week. And this is a document you're going to want to brush up on, just read through. It'll help you. I believe it will. It helped me. So this week is the NFPA conference. I call it the NFPA annual meeting. They call it the Conference and Expo. We're here at the Boston Convention and Exhibition Center. Joseph Wages is here. David Williams is here. A lot of our IAEI representatives that sit on code making panel are here. Other organizations like NICA, IEC, the Independent Electrical Contractors, IEEE. Nihad El Sharif is coming in from Egypt. He flew from Egypt to Canada, Saskatoon, and now he's coming into Boston. I believe he will be here tomorrow. So people come from all over the place to sit, talk code, argue code, get so frustrated that you throw your arms up, and yet we all go downstairs and we break some bread, talk, and have fun together. So it's a great meeting, and if you want to understand the entire process that the National Electrical Code experiences every 3 years, and that NFPA 70E experiences every 3 years, and 70B experiences every 3 years, you can't miss this event. It's phenomenal, and if you can figure out a way to get to the annual meeting, every June it occurs, you will feel blessed to be able to network and meet people on all different code panels, meet people with like thoughts and visions, and people that don't have visions that or have visions that aren't the same as yours. And that's when we really, when we can sit down at a table and debate topics, that's magic. That's when sometimes both of you walk away from the table with a changed perspective on things, even if you don't want to admit it. All right, so I gave you a little overview of what's going on here in Boston at the annual meeting. We talked a little bit about the process. We talked a little bit about some of the certified amending motions. We talked a little bit about the presentations and I showed you, and I hope you understand how they relate to the National Electrical Code and why it's so important to be a part of this process. And I hope that I see you in Vegas next year. If I don't see you sometime this week, and if you see me, come on over, shake my hand, say hey, say hi. And if you have an interest of a topic you want to see on IAEI News Live, please let me know. If you don't like what you're hearing, let me know. Remember, what's said on this program starts here. It comes out here, but it's all from my heart. So we're all working together to increase electrical safety and save lives. That's what it is all about. So thanks for joining in to this session. I wish I could be live. I was going to go live from the convention, and I recorded this just in case I can't, but I do have a plan that maybe I will be able to go live from the convention. If not for the 12 o'clock session, it might be for a different time of the day. So stay tuned. You never know what's going to happen because it's IAEI News Live. All right, everybody. Thank you for what you do for the electrical industry. Thanks for spending time with me today. Thanks for what you do for electrical safety. Remember to stay safe and please stay healthy. Until the next time we meet, either in person or possibly virtually. God bless. Take care.